We're live on it.
Oh, welcome in. You are listening to another episode of the What's Next podcast, and we're a little bit fired up because, as you would have heard, we're speaking quickly because we've been drinking the Inner Bloom cold brew coffee elixir, and I've been downing the oat milk version. But anyway, today we're going to be talking a little bit about greediness. Off of the back of something we spotted last week, Phil, it is good to have you in the studio again. Let's rip into this one because it's a little bit of a controversial one. This one, isn't it?
Gee, it's great to be back on the mic. You know, after just being off of it for 5 minutes, and back into another one.
You know, we don't slow down.
No,
two a week for the listeners out there.
Hey, that was something that we put on our business plan when we were down in the Bay 2 years ago now.
We did, yeah.
2.5.
Yeah.
And look at that for consistency, folks.
We've even got.
Have we stopped? COVID, I don't think even stopped us. Might have slowed us down, but it didn't stop us.
Yeah, we still at least got one out.
Yeah, because we would jump on the old live stream thing, StreamYard.
Yeah. So for top tip for those people who are looking to get into podcasting is write down some of the things that you are talking about during the week or conversations that you're having with clients, frequently asked questions, those types of things, and take note of them then and there and build up a little bit of a bank, because what we find is we sometimes get to a Friday and we're like, shit, what were we going to do as a podcast? And we can't remember because we've had so much on. So write it down as you go, as we did this week. And this topic came from last week that we wanted to talk about. So to give you a little bit of context for this topic,
yes,
I'll give them my side of the equation, mate, and you tell me if I've missed anything. But
yes.
Just for context, so if you declare a $70,000 income or less in the 2022 financial year, which finished 31 March 2022, you're going to be entitled to a $350 handout from the taxpayer, aka the Minister of Debt, who's going to borrow it from the future generations of taxpayer, and you're going to get paid that out in 3 installments from probably August, September, and October. Now, obviously, this is great for people who earn below 70,000, and that's about 2.1 million people, and they need this
at a cool cost of about $1 billion.
Yeah, about $1 billion it's going to cost by the time it's paid out to people, plus the people that are going to be employed to do that, and the cost of administration will go past $1 billion, and that's all fine and well. We need to help people who are getting stuck in this cost of living crisis. Now, obviously, it raises the grey area for people who are self-employed or business people. They're thinking, well, what's my income, or is that after my expenses and things? And then someone suggested, a business consultant I think it was, suggested that potentially business owners should declare an income in their own personal name of $69,000 or $70,000 to stay below the $70,000, and then if you've got any other income, leave the rest in the company and pay the tax on that in the company. I'm assuming that's probably what they're saying. And then you're going to get your $350 for free, and then go and donate that to a charity or to people who need that money.
Yeah.
That's the crux of it? So technically manipulating your income to potentially a below market salary.
Correct. Yeah. So, there was a post on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn it was.
That a prominent business consultant put on. Maybe? I don't know. But somebody that people might think is aspirational.
Okay.
Certainly not as aspirational as us, because this is what I would refer to as below the line thinking.
Ooh.
And the crux of the whole thing was spot on there. Gee, you're fired up on that coffee. I was just thinking as you were talking
four coffees today.
Top eat, that you listen to stuff in 2 or 3 times speed.
Yeah.
And if people are listening to this podcast at 2 or 3 times,
they could be hurt.
You're going to sound like an absolute wide fucking chipmunk.
Yeah, I've hurt someone's brain.
Because just listening to you then, it's like, Jesus, you are talking fast.
Yeah, I can dial it up and I can dial it down.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You're full noise there. And look, shout out to Inner Bloom. If you want to make your team go faster, get them this stuff into them.
I had a black coffee when I got up.
Yep.
I then had a Namano coconut flat white. Shout out to our friends at Namano.
Hashtag not sponsored.
And then a couple of these just to try them.
Jeez, I wonder what you'd go like behind the keyboard now, smashing out sets of accounts.
We'll find out in about half an hour.
Yeah. Wow, our compliance season might be done by the end of the weekend.
Sorry, back to this
point. But back to the post. So there was a post. So it's on a public forum platform where people can. Some pricks decided to do some drilling
It's not 5
anyway.
o'clock yet. Yeah. Tough time.
On a thing and state publicly that they cap their income for tax reasons, and that this person, along with other business owners, do the same thing. And because you do, you're going to get the $350 back from the government. And because I'm such a noble and good person, aka the poster of the comment, not me, I don't need it, so I'm going to donate it. And we saw this, and it rubbed us up the wrong way.
The call to action at the end of it was come and work with me as well.
Yes.
Just for context, because you probably want to work with someone that's that crafty too.
Yeah, absolutely. And saw it, and it rubbed me up the wrong way. So I took a screenshot of it and did a post about it.
Because it did say, please don't comment on this with your opinions
Yeah.
or whatever, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Just said
So-
who else is in.
And I had some reasonably controversial comments, and I thought, well, I don't want them deleted because they're constructive, so I took a screenshot and posted them a separate thing. And I said, well, firstly, there's active media commentary out there that there's a growing divide between the rich and the poor, and that the rich have got the ability to manipulate the tax system to their advantage.
Mm.
And this person has just confirmed that media narrative. And
It's a really good point, mate.
and that really just, it pissed me off, to be quite frank, because we work with business owners, and we've worked with business owners in previous accounting firms who pay their fair share of tax and pay a lot of tax. And they, in our opinion, are not manipulating the tax system.
No.
Yes, business owners do have the ability to claim expenses and do things that employees can't, but these guys are paying their fair share of tax.
Yeah, large amount.
Yeah, so this comment didn't help that narrative, and I thought that was really poor form, particularly given the prominent lifestyle that this person publicly puts out that they live. And I don't know how you could live on a $70,000 or less income on this lifestyle if in fact that was market income, because the tax rules definitely say that you can't cap your income. That's a no-no. That's tax avoidance as far as I'm aware. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Pete, I know you're an accountant. We're an accountant. If you know, let me know the tax legislation reference, and I can just put it in my little notepad. But as far as I know, it's a no-no, and you actually have to pay a fair market salary. And so based on the post, we took an assumption that no, that wasn't happening. And then the second thing, because they've made this really piss poor decision that they're all of a sudden included in 2.1 million people that are facing a cost of living crisis, that the majority of them are employees, so aren't in complete control of their income, unlike business owners. So is lucky, for those that are watching on the line, I'm doing my little quotation luckies with my tone of sarcasm, that they can claim the $350 and, because I don't need it, I'll donate it. And I just said this is really irresponsible thinking, missing a completely bigger picture here. You're actively contributing by making a conscious decision to cap your income to something that's costing our country $1 billion. Lift your game. That's a shit mindset.
Oh, there it is. You heard it here first, which I think may surprise some people, because I didn't see the post, and I actually asked you. I said, did it get many comments? Because I actually thought when you showed me, I thought, I bet a lot of people get in behind that, and like, yeah, because it's this real kind of like, depending on what bubble you're in on the old LinkedIn, anti kind of Labour and anti-government type thing, and like, yeah, fuck them, we can get one up them here. Like, yeah, we should do this, and we can claim 350. And I guess when you showed me, my initial thoughts was, this is like the low-level thinking we need to get New Zealanders out of. We need to be thinking bigger. Let's go and just give $500 to some random in the street and go, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself to make it back this month.
And the funny thing about it, and it was the final comment that I made, that charitable donations are tax-deductible expenses for a business owner.
Good point.
So
yeah,
just make a fucking donation and shut up about it and get on.
And you get your 33% back of that if you want, or you claim it as a full tax deduction expense.
But yet, no, we're having to cap our income
Yeah.
to then all of a sudden get 350 to then give that to a charity or somebody that's less fortunate to make you feel better about yourself, rather than actually going, no, stop rorting the tax system, pay your fair share of tax.
Yeah, I guess it took us back to the podcast that we did where we had a client sort of say when we introduced as a nation a 39% tax rate, you know, what's the point actually earning more income if I'm going to be taxed this? Should I just only work up to that as a profit level and just go, you know what, that's enough for me? And we sort of said, hey, we get where you're coming from, but you know, you're just stuck in a moment of thinking. That's not you. That's not how you operate. You think bigger than that. You're still going to get 61% of it. Come on, let's rumble. Like, you add value to the economy. We need more of those people. And so then we did the podcast off the back of that. And it was a really popular podcast around should you try or should you give up because it's in.
The extra tax from 180 to 200,000 to 6 cents was $1,200.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
and,
gotcha. Yeah.
And you made the point, and I think it's a very valid point, that when you quantify it as $1,200 and you go, you're a business owner, what can you do to go and make $2,500 tomorrow?
Yeah.
And then business owners go, oh yeah, yeah, fuck it, right, I'll go and make $2,500 and carry on.
Because I guess people need to be, as we often say, business owners, you need to remember that you're watching media narrative, conversations, political decisions catered to the masses. As soon as you're in business, well, you're not in the masses because you've just taken yourself out of the masses and you've gone, I'm going to have a crack, I'm going to take some risk. And if you're good at that, the market then rewards you for that. And if you can add value, you get rewarded even more. But then you still consume the same shit that you used to consume before you were that person. So if you then go back, okay, well, I'm not going to get 350. This is shit. Oh, you know, I'm going to manipulate my income so I can get my 350. You've just fallen back into the narrative of shit you probably shouldn't even know about. Does it matter?
The media get their narrative, I think, from where the government's positioning themselves, and coming up from those last pods that we did and the discussions that we've had with people in the politics game, is it's very clear that the two main political parties are just appealing to the average, aren't they? So the media narrative is then going to be tailored to the average. So if you're then doing that, like manipulating your income, you're just being part of the average. And that's not what being a business owner is about.
And if you're listening to this, you know that our purpose for being in business is life-changing advice for aspirational businesses. So you've probably got some level of aspiration. So you're not trying to be average. I guess that's probably what we thought was frustrating a while. It was like, oh, that doesn't speak to us, is because we're like, no, we've got to do more. We're trying to achieve more. Let's just give 350 away, not even make the post, give some laptops to somebody, whatever, and just do the bit you can do and roll on, and don't go, okay, you know, I'm going to get stuck here for a while, because that's just unproductive thinking and not what we really need as a nation, I think, to be doing more and contributing more.
If you're listening to this and you think you can do it, I would, one, have a look at an honest look at yourself in the mirror, and then go and talk to your accountant. Because yes, there's stuff that you can do that, yeah, it's a market salary and you can justify it, or you're just actually taking the piss.
I guess it's, there'll be some people that listen to this over the next couple of months, they'll have conversations with their accountant who will say, oh, well, we're going to keep you below 70 so you get this, so you get the 350, and you'll probably think, oh yeah, awesome, they're a real GC. You're probably going to pay for it in your accounting fees anyway, so she's gone. But just think about that for a moment and go, cool, how long do I want this sort of advice in my life for? And how long do I want to pay for this for? Or do I strive for more?
And just remember that if you do, and you've got the ability to choose that cap, you're part of the $1 billion problem.
Yeah, someone's got to pay the bill.
Yeah, and it's not, like, that's, the 350 helps, but I think to be eligible for it, there's people that are struggling out there. And as a business owner, you potentially may not be struggling, so you're defeating the purpose of the intention that the policy's for. Yeah. I mean, like to say, you know, we're, as business owners, more in control of our incomes. So we can go, can I decrease some costs? Can I increase some income? Can I change some things here? Can I hustle a little harder? Can I work an extra half an hour and chase up some leads and win that project? Do I take on some work that I wouldn't have ordinarily taken on? But, hold on, a employee, they can't do that. Yeah. Because their income is usually fixed, and so 2 million people are capped under that 70,000, and so this is designed to help them because they're not as in control as you are. Sorry. It comes back to that point as well, of like people that look at the budget and go, what's in it for me or what can I get out of it?
Mm.
Whereas if you flip your thinking and go, what can I do? What's something different that I can do to make more than $350?
Yeah.
That's a better way to be thinking, because there ain't fucking nothing in the budget for anybody.
It's a longer term way to think that's going to be more successful for you, right? I guess that's probably what this person has done, is feel aggrieved maybe that there's nothing in the budget for them and gone, you know what, but I can manipulate this so that
There
there
shouldn't
is.
be anything in the budget for anybody.
Yeah, for anybody.
No, we'll just, so long as we've got roads and a health system that works and an education system that works.
Might need some police to
And a
reckon,
taxi,
'cause
and some popo.
shootings out your way, mate.
Oh,
Jeez.
jeez, I tell you what.
Yeah.
Funny, well, not funny. I was actually walking to the gym this morning, and it was 6 o'clock-ish in the morning, maybe a fracky before or after, can't remember. And that was actually going through my mind was, I wonder if there's been any shootings in West Auckland overnight.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't checked my phone to go, oh, fuck, there's been shootings and, you know, whatever's happened. And I walked down this dark alley, and I'm like, what's stopping just some blimmin' ganged up person wearing their colours just coming out of the bushes and popping Phil off?
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just like, you know, that's a loser thing. That's not going to happen, Phil.
You're right, though, it does it.
But, you know, it goes. The West Auckland is coming up in the media as getting some attention with the gangs. And, yeah, it does make you think.
Yeah. So we need those $350 payments to go back towards the police force rather than people that don't need it.
Oh, I'm absolutely going to say to go and buy some body armour and some rounds. But
hopefully they need it.
No, you're quite right.
I saw actually someone saying that the more that those shootings happen, it's actually quite good for us who aren't involved in that, because smart gang people realise, like, you don't want to be shining attention on gangs. Because then the community and the everyday person gets in behind whatever the narrative of, like, we've got to start coming down on them, like, yes, let's vote for some power to slow this down, where really gangs just want to go about their business and make their cash and keep their heads below, and people don't even realise what's going on. But the more they do it publicly, the more people are like, something needs to happen, which is really interesting. Hadn't really thought of. I just thought, so it could spike and then kind of die off. Yeah, because someone says, pull your heads in, look at the attention you're putting on us that we don't need.
Yeah, we're trying to deal drugs here. This stuff's supposed to be on the down low.
Yeah, I thought maybe I'm probably just being a little bit optimistic buying into that chat, but it is scary stuff, isn't it?
To see how it plays out. So business owners, just remember, you are in huge control, and the decisions that you make today, chances are, have a much wider impact than you possibly realise.
Yeah.
And that's capping your income for tax reasons, because the tax law says that you can, is one, blatantly wrong, and two, piss poor, below line, shit mindset thinking.
Yeah, I guess it's the how long do you carry that thinking on for? So maybe you do go down that path and you do it deliberately. Like, I've got no problem with people that are genuinely got an income, you know, under 70 grand. You know, that's fine. We don't make the rules. But if you're deliberately doing it, what do you try and do next time? Because as we talked about earlier, things ain't going to get better out there. So in a year's time, are they going to say, look, we're going to do it again for people that are earning under this threshold? And you go, you know what, I'm going to do this again. And like, how long does your thinking at that level continue for? And I think tax does suck. We all hate and despise these big, large, chunky tax bills. But at some stage, you've almost got to outgrow that thinking system that you've got, because you go, you know what, it's better for me to chase the 60% than going, I'm not going to do anything because I resent paying the 39%.
And it's really, and another example of it being really short-term, small-minded, just blatantly dumb thinking. I was actually going to comment on my reply that this has got to have the award for the dumbest post of the year. It was really face-palming dumb shit. But just another example as to how short-sighted the thinking is. At some point in time, you're going to want to sell the business or buy a property. And if you're in control of your income and you're declaring less income, it's going to make it hard to buy other assets. And then two, when it comes time to sell your business and you go, oh, I'm a business owner, I can manipulate this and tweak this, so I'm really pushing down my tax liability. Who's going to want to buy a business like that? Absolutely nobody, because you're going, oh, no, we've got all these adjustments to make. Come on.
Imagine having that to put that into your business sale information memorandum. Or by the way, we manipulate our income in the 2022 financial year to get the $350 for free.
Yeah.
I'll be like, well, okay, well, this person's a batless, and we'll factor that into our negotiations.
Down goes the purchase price. You've just been slammed.
Yeah. Oh dear.
But it just illustrates that, you know, as a business owner, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
And I think some business owners go, oh, I can manipulate my income down so I pay less tax. But at the same time, income is used as a metric when determining the value of the business. So if it's going to have low income, low value, what's more important to you?
Mm.
To me, it's a business that's got high income, high value, because that's an asset.
Pay your tax and carry on.
Yeah.
I guess to this person's credit, mate, they did send you a message, didn't they? And they said, "Hey, I've seen your post. I take your point."
That was very ballsy.
Yeah.
Very ballsy for this person to, so not connected to this person at all. They are not a first person connection, although they did send an invite to connect. That has not been accepted by me. And I thought, man, that takes some absolute balls to message somebody completely randomly, outline a bit of background, tell me that you've taken down your original post because, you know, you see that it's race and issues and, you know, you've just identified fucking short-sighted thinking, and politely asked if I take my post down.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a bit of a laugh.
I enjoy, if I look at the mindset of Philip Smith here for a second, mate, that you probably foresaw that happening. And so you thought, well, instead of commenting on it, which is A, going to risk the comment being deleted, and B, the post not being there at some stage anyway, you thought, well, I'll screenshot it and I'll make a post about it. The strategicness of the man is admirable, very admirable. And I love that. That's just you playing into your strengths.
You know me too well. Yes, 100%. I did that with complete.
And they must have thought, fuck.
Oh, and
it's still up.
The other disclaimer, I was an absolute asshole, admittedly. I tagged in Land Revenue.
That's right. Yeah, I guess also going back to the original post, like, isn't that just like waving a red flag to the IRD, being like, hey...
Yeah, and that's why I thought I can't put a comment, so I take the screenshot and do the post and tag in Land Revenue myself on the off chance that they check LinkedIn. But and I did it tongue-in-cheek that, you know, I didn't know it was in the tax law that you could do it, knowing full well that you could way to weave the IRD in there. But yeah, the person messaged me directly, and full credit for them for going out on a limb doing that, because they don't know who I am, and you know, they didn't know what kind of response. I could have taken a screenshot of their message and used that as another post to create some more content. But you know, that would be being an ultimate not cool.
Yeah.
So I considered their reply. And what you said about the way my mind works, 100% you got it right, because I knew that chances were strong that they would message me directly, because it's a small world out there and they would have seen it. Message me directly, and then I replied privately and gave a few of my thoughts a little bit more directly, and then said, look, you know, I appreciate where you're coming from, and I will take the post down.
And you did take it down, didn't you?
I took it down straight away.
Yeah. What I did enjoy is that person had the humility to actually be really nice and, well, just very well worded and very articulate, and sort of pleaded the case for why it should come down, and that they'd taken theirs down. I thought most people these days, I think, would just go into like combat mode, like, oh, look what you've done, like, who do you think you are, blah blah blah, and just be like, right, let's have it out. But they did it, which was, that's probably like a little bit of saving grace for me, I think is the term. But good of you to actually take it down, because I guess you could have been like, yeah, well, you know. Yeah,
it did cross my mind, but I just thought, you know, that the person went out on a limb, and it comes back to that asking thing. I didn't have to, and I put myself in their position, and I thought, if I did something that dumb, that somebody then took my stuff and then leveraged off of it, and then I messaged them and go, oh, look, I've stuffed up here, could you take it down? I'd want to hope that somebody would see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Because it's not the IRD that's the issue here, or the fact that it's the capping the income. Yeah, it is for us, for our podcast, and create some great content. But for this person, in the context of the environment that they operate in, it's brand damaging.
And, you know, to be fair to them, it could have been one of those moments where someone's thrown around the idea and they've thought, like, I've got a bit of a platform, like, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to do LinkedIn post about this. This will blow up. This will be a bit of a classic one, and then realised, actually, there's a whole heap of people out there going, hang on, like this is pretty low level thinking.
What I did find absolutely fascinating was, in addition to the original post, was actually who engaged with that post by liking it or giving the reaction of like, this is insightful, this is curious, or I like it.
Yeah.
And then those that commented on it. And I'm just like, wow, all of these people had got such small thinking they don't see the bigger picture of actually what is happening here. That blew me away. And there was some interesting people that engaged with that post. I was about to comment something to that point on my post. I thought, no, that's
No doubt, a whole heap of people that send their kids to school for free each year and milk the taxpayer for the free education and forget that, you know, they do probably get something back for the tax they're paying, but they're wanting an extra $350.
Yeah. They would have claimed the RSP and the small business cash flow too.
Yeah, and the odd subsidies. Oh, well, mate, you always spot something on LinkedIn. And hey, we're not perfect. We've had posts that don't go too well as well, but that shouldn't let you put you off of posting. Just remember that it can go both ways out there.
I think the point of the pod is, as a business owner, remember you're in control. The decisions that you make at an individual level can have a much wider impact, and be mindful and just go, look, is this the right thing? Can you wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and go, yeah, I'm doing the right thing here?
Yeah. And again, a reminder, what's the point of spending $1 to save 39 cents in tax or 33 cents in tax if you don't really need to spend that money? You know, at some stage, you've got to graduate into the 2%, 1% thinking and go, you know what? That's a waste of my thinking and I should be focusing it somewhere else and go, I don't need to come up with these, should I buy a whole heap of merch for all of my clients? That'll bring my bloody tax bill down. And it's like, then you go and organise that. There's 20 hours gone. Do they want a fucking pair of socks? Yeah, I'll pay the lawyer this. And, you know, but do your clients even want the stuff you're going to pay just so you can bring your tax bill down by $3,000 or whatever? Just, be smart out there, people.
Wise words. Be smart.
Be smart. Right. Ariana Grande. I think that's the pronunciation.
Is it?
Yeah.
Greedy. This was, some interesting lyrics in this tune, isn't there?
Bit of a tune.
Hey, as always, 5 stars. Smack that button. Refer it to a friend. We always appreciate the referrals and the love from the people. Any questions, get in touch. alanp@nexadvisory.nz.